Hi, I'm Preeti,
And I'm Brian.
and welcome to our podcast, The Ghibli Neighbors.
Here we talk about all the Ghibli movies
Why they are the best.
and how it changed our lives.
So
Let's get started.
Hello, guys, welcome back to The Ghibli Neighbors. And today we're going to talk about two movies. One is Arrietty, and another is Ponyo. So, Brian, what do you think about these movies?
Yeah, both of these movies from Ghibli are kind of strange because these two movies kind of feel like a fairy tale type of movie.
Correct. It has a template to it, right?
Yeah. It feels more like watching Disney, but when you watch the movie till the end, I think in the end, obviously, it feels like a Ghibli movie.
Correct. And the messages kind of like stand out to you throughout the movie and it all makes sense. And then there's suddenly a lot of depth that you notice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is very common with all Ghibli movies.
Yeah. And you start to appreciate life more than ever. So that's the most significant part, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's then start with Arrietty then.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. So Arrietty is all about this small tiny girl who quite literally is tiny, and she encounters this boy who moves into the town side for what seems to be a vacation, but what you know about his future is quite taunting later. But yeah, for now he's in vacation, and then the small girl meets the boy, and then her life changes. So this is a movie about. So, Brian, what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's pretty much it. I mean, the entire movie happens around this huge house, and this little girl, she lives with her mom and dad in this small, kind of like a doll house, which is in the basement of this huge house.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning itself, we see her escaping this cat, which tries to chase her down,
Yeah.
and she's literally in a jungle of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
She's scavenging to get some baby leaves, and she gets it back to her house. I mean, the entire thing, though it feels grandeur for the girl, for us as viewers and audience, it's a very small setup.
Yeah, I absolutely adore the way that the director has shown the scale of the girl compared to the real world scale, and how much it differs and how grand it could be for somebody who's small in size. And also the detailing is brilliant. The house of Arrietty is filled with all man-made objects
Yes.
which they've borrowed within quotes. Yeah, their house looks stunning. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that interior, if you asked me. So let's just move on to the next word, the buzzword, borrowing. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's a new term. Initially, when I saw the movie, I thought it was borrowers, since they're borrowing,
Okay.
but kind of doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
Animals borrow. Only later in the movie, I understood that they are borrowing stuff from humans, and hence they are called borrowers. It's a nice term, actually. Probably in the past, these small people and normal, regular humans would have been in contact and would have shared things and would have been in mutual understanding. So probably they would have borrowed something from humans, and humans would have borrowed some level of support from these small people, and hence they would have got the name borrowers.
Probably.
So according to them, they're not stealing; they're just borrowing stuff from what's already there.
So that's your interpretation.
Yeah,
of that.
exactly.
Oh, sweet. Nice. So, whatever interpretation that I had was mainly from the movie itself, so it was not very imaginative. But I saw borrowing as more of an act of dependency of how each ecosystem is dependent on another. I think the word ecosystem is kind of important to me when I understood this movie, because there was number of scenes where the scale was compared with Arrietty, the humans, and beings that are smaller than Arrietty.
Insects, small insects.
Smaller bugs. So, and how Arrietty encounters and interacts with these bugs, which is so similar to how humans interact with Arrietty and the smaller creatures.
Exactly.
So it just like brings out the kind of character of bigger beings interacting with smaller beings, our
Exactly.
attitude towards them, or how we could take them for granted, or intrude into their space, or think for them instead of letting them live by themselves, and stuff like that. So, would you have something to talk about the ecosystem idea?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Like in nature, every organism depends on another organism for livelihood. The entire cycle is there, and it's kind of based on nature. So, as you said, in the movie itself, we don't see them as a magical being per se. Even though for us it's a fantasy movie with magical beings and everything, I think the director and the writer were very concerned that they shouldn't see them as magical beings. We should see them as part of the ecosystem or part of the environment.
Correct.
As in, they exist as a living being who would have probably evolved from another living being
Exactly.
in a certain way. If I'm not wrong, that would be the case. So I think what you said right now about the whole ecosystem thingy, it makes sense with the movie.
Makes sense, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing which I really appreciated is that how they showed that even the bugs had family to themselves. There's a scene where Arrietty plays with the bug, smaller bug, and then the bug's family is waiting for Arrietty to release the bug, and the bug that's being released will join the family. So that's kind of a symbolic way to show the whole plot itself.
Yeah.
That how the boy kind of interacts with the girl, that is Arrietty, and it kind of disrupts, but the family is waiting for her to return, and then their life is disrupted because they've encountered a human being and stuff like that. But I really appreciate how the director made us appreciate and really understand that every little bug also has a family and a home that it has to return to. So it really helps us to acknowledge the life of every other small little being. So I was really stunned by that representation. So moving on, I would like to talk about music and background scoring. So do you want to shed light on that?
Yeah, I think this movie has a very interesting music, especially with the soundtrack. It's a very nice soundtrack, hopeful soundtrack. And there was this one area which I noticed, which is like very unique for me in terms of the scene itself. So in the beginning, we have Ariadne and her dad going into the house to borrow stuff. So they go to borrow this sugar cube and some tissue. So while doing all the borrowing and stuff, I noticed that when they enter this particular room, which they enter through the wall, they land in this huge man-made doll box or doll house. So they go through the doll house and they see everything is like perfect for them. And they go out of the doll house. The moment they enter the room, we hear this clock ticking sound. It's very consistent. There's no music, no nothing. Which makes you feel something is weird. When Arati and her dad go to take the tissues from the box, suddenly there's this camera pan and they focus on the boy who's lying on the bed. He sees Arati. And that consistent ticking song is replaced by a consistent heartbeat song. A sense of fear for Arati and her dad.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the coolest scenes in the movie, where they used sound in a very beautiful way.
Absolutely agree. Even I was so amazed by that particular scene and how well it played out to be. So yeah, so do we want to talk about the characters themselves? Let's talk about Arrietty first. What do you think about her?
Ariadne is very adventurous. From the very first scene, we see her scavenging for this baby leaf so that her mom can make some tea out of it for like a year. And she deals with danger right in the face.
Exactly.
We have the house cat chasing Ariadne, and she somehow escapes the jungle area, which is basically a garden, and she goes into the house. And she does all this without any sense of fear.
Exactly.
She's just adventurous, and I think she's not someone who who fears anything easily.
Yeah, she's not. She's very trusting
Yeah.
of other beings, I guess so, and it reflects of her on how she treats other smaller beings. So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree with you. One thing that also shows her courage is that the first thing that she borrows is a pin that looks like a sword. So I think I absolutely agree with you that she's very courageous and brave and fearless, and that shows a lot.
Yes.
So, is there any surprising supporting characters that you want to talk about?
Obviously, there are a few.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about show itself.
Yes.
Yeah. He put up a big show in the movie.
Absolutely.
So, show, in a way, is a very unique character. So, in the beginning of the movie, we hear this one liner which goes like this. So, I'll never forget the summer that I spent when I was 10 years old in my aunt's house. In the beginning of the movie, it's very evident that the movie is told in the perspective of this particular boy. So, when the boy comes to this house in this village area, there's something about him. So, we all know that he's sick. We don't know why he's sick. So, there's a sense of fragility to him. And I feel it's that particular sense of fragility which makes him treat Arrietty with a special level of concern.
So beautifully said.
When Arrietty meets this boy for the first time, he doesn't shout at her, he doesn't show any level of excitement, maybe because of his condition, physical condition. He himself is weak and timid. And Arrietty and her dad, being small beings, they need a little sense of care to be handled with.
Exactly.
If you're going to interact with them.
Yeah.
So both of them are technically fragile beings.
Yeah.
And that is why I feel like the boy had a sense of joy and a sense of connection with Arrietty. And throughout the movie, we see him as a very hopeless person. Like he's accepting of his fate and he's like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen to me. But he just wants some level of connection. And it also reflects with Arrietty. Because Arrietty, she lives in a space where there's no other people. She kind of thinks that her family is one of the last borrowers in that particular area.
Yeah.
And this guy, he doesn't have his mother around him. He doesn't have his father around him. He has no one to talk to. There's a sense of isolation for the boy and Arrietty with her family. So I guess this is also another common thing that made them talk to each other.
Absolutely agree. Every single word that you said. It was so beautifully put together as well. Thank you, Brian. Yeah. So, moving on, I want to talk about how humans can disrupt environment, which we don't really realize how we do that. We think that we're doing good to other beings that are dependent on us, but what we're really doing might disrupt their lives and we're not aware of that. And this movie made me notice that phenomenon. Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I think that's kind of true. So we have this boy's aunt, who's the owner of the house, telling us a small story of how her father was able to see these small people, and the father figure, the aunt's father, the boy's grandfather, was able to order this doll house especially for them. But somewhere in the timeline, something happened to the borrowers. So technically in the movie, they mentioned that there were 3 borrower families below the main big house. But somehow 2 vanished. One went to another place and we don't know what happened to the other family. So the only logical sense here is that someone in the big house, some human being, has in a way destroyed the family. So I believe this destruction, it is true.
Yeah.
It's a very human nature.
Yeah.
So I feel like what you said right here is like really true, and it's very applicable in our environment. Let's say we always think about what we need, our own concerns, our own necessities. Most of us disregard what the environment needs, or especially what nature needs. There are animals out there which are being affected by our own actions, and we oftentimes ignore it consciously or unconsciously. And I feel like that is kind of a conversation that the director and the writer probably had while making this movie. And I agree with what you said.
Yeah, I had multiple places in the movie where this phenomenon was shining through. One such was that when the boy is trying to present the kitchen set to the family, he is trying to move away their original kitchen to place the new kitchen
Yeah.
into the house. And what seems to him is he has a gentle heart, right? He has a very kind intention towards that. But we see that scene in the perspective of Arrietty and her family.
Yeah.
So how it really looks like is an earthquake. It looks
Exactly.
like everything is breaking and shattering and falling. It's, even though it comes from a kind intention, we don't really realize how disruptive it can be to another community or another being. So what really it requires is empathy and actually space and respect to someone else's or some other being's space.
Hmm.
So even though we think, so we know these creatures, how much do we know? We should probably not disrupt their space and let them be, and probably that's what they want. If you look at how these families moved out of the house itself,
Hmm.
they either moved because they encountered a human being and then they had to move out so that they don't get encountered by them again,
Hmm.
or they were destroyed by the human beings. They disappeared, they say. So even a little act of interacting with them is disruptive to them. In that case, we should just let them be, right?
Yeah.
We shouldn't assume that they need our intervention or our help. Maybe they don't need it. They can live by themselves. They are brilliant borrowers. They feast out of what we have, and smaller beings feast out of what they have. So this connection of how smaller things are feeding out of bigger beings is a theme that I saw in the movie. So yeah, that's about the disruptive pattern that human beings can do to the environment. So one of the important parts of the movie is right in the middle where Sho and Arrietty talks with each other. So do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. Actually, we've been talking about important scenes from previous movies, no? Scenes which make a huge difference for the entire movie.
Correct.
So I feel like this particular movie has this scene, which is very crucial to the movie, which changes the perspective of the characters in the movie.
Exactly.
So we have Arrietty talking about her family and how she has to move because Sho has seen her. And suddenly Sho talks about how Arrietty's entire existence is going to become extinct. Her entire species is going to become extinct. And Arrietty is defensive about this. And this is the point that we understand that Sho is actually dying because of a heart attack or something related to the heart.
Yes.
So what all he's saying right there, all the negativity is actually is from his perspective.
Correct.
His mortality.
Yes.
He has a sense of feeling that he's going to go extinct.
Yeah.
And he's going to die. And there's nothing to change about it.
Yeah.
So he's telling the same to Arrietty.
Yeah.
Anyways, you're going to go extinct. What is going to change?
Yeah.
But it was at that moment when Arrietty is like so confident and she's like, no matter what, we will move away and we will survive. And he's again being very negative. And Arrietty just tells him, see, we would have survived if we stayed here, but it's because of you, but it's because we saw you and you saw us. We have to move. Anything that's going to happen to us is going to be because of you. And at that particular point, his perspective on everything changes. That's when he tells us that he's going to die. And there's an understanding, even though there's going to be hopelessness, there's going to be death in some level, in some point in life, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have hope. And I think it's from that particular point, he becomes more hopeful. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. One thing that I'd like to add to this is that Shaw, when he was talking, had a little bit of the human arrogance in his perception towards smaller beings. He says there are 6.7 billion of us. How many of you are there? And he says that in a way that we are bigger in number, you are smaller, so you're not that, important per se. And also, he says how a lot of species are extinct because the environment changed and they vanished. And he says that it's because of the fate. And Arrietty says, because of fate, you say? We see how Shaw has an arrogance or ignorance that humans tend to have. That we take ourselves out of the picture and blame nature and environment for the changes that are happening. While we are major contributors to the changes that happen in our environment. So that ignorance is what I noticed in this quite seemingly simple conversation that Shaw had with Arrietty. Yeah. So one of the words that really stood out to me when you spoke was hope. So I'd really love to talk about that. So there is this object in a movie which is almost very significant in the movie. So it's a poster that the mother has. It's a poster of the ocean. She looks at it whenever she wants to feel hopeful or feel more determined about living. There's a conversation that Arrietty and her mom has. She asks why, while packing to leave, she asks, why do we have this poster all the time? And if you see these posters, Arrietty and her mother unveils them when there is a rain outside. So when there is some type of disaster going outside, that's when these posters are unraveled. So, for some reason, even a forgotten reason, Arrietty's mother held on to this poster for hope's sake. And this poster, later in the movie, when they've completely gone out of their house, they are stranded, they are alone in the middle of the river, literally alone, the mother looks at the ocean poster that they've packed, and she's so delighted, and she's regaining the hope to live. And another part of hope is also how Shaw gains a lot of hope from Arrietty. Even though Arrietty belongs to a community which almost is dying, she has a hope that she will always survive and they will multiply and they will be well. She has that life in her, and that is a reflection of the world's confidence and strength of the world and the nature itself. No matter what we do to it, good things will survive. Nature will thrive, nature will prevail. So that fact was standing out to me in the movie. So there's a small Easter egg in this movie. Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, there's a small scene which references an older movie, an older Ghibli movie. So if I'm not wrong, there's this small raccoon that comes in the middle of the night while they are traveling and leaving the place which they used to call home. I mean, Arrietty and her family. So when we saw this raccoon, we understood that, okay, this must be a callback to a previous movie made by Ghibli. And it is called Pompoko, which is a movie about raccoons who are trying to survive in their ecosystem. And that particular movie is quite similar to this particular movie where Arrietty and her family are trying to survive. That it can be a callback, but it's a very nice Easter egg inside the movie.
Absolutely agree. Yeah. So, do you have anything else to add to this conversation?
Yeah, actually, since we talk about the destructiveness of human beings, we can talk about the representation of the destructiveness that we have, which is one of the characters in the movie, the housemaid or the house help, Haru. She's very persistent on finding these small beings and exterminating them, which I would consider very sadistic nature. She keeps on calling these small beings as thieves and she wants to kill them, exterminate them. And I feel like that's how some of us humans are. When we see insects, we just want to destroy them, stamp on them, like chase them away, or probably exterminate them. That's how she sees them, as bugs. Meanwhile, the protagonists, most of the time, are more ideal. So people are trying to say, I mean, the director and the writer is trying to say, try to be more like the protagonist. Try to be more like Sho. Try to be more like Arrietty.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Thank you for bringing that up. I really appreciated the portrayal of Haru as well. And you had a funny take on Haru. Do you want to talk about that?
No. Yeah, Haru, the name Haru felt very familiar because the protagonist of the movie Cat Returns is also Haru. So I thought, okay, is it the same Haru? But that would spoil the entire nature of the previous movie. So I don't want to believe it's the same Haru.
Yeah,
But
me
nice.
neither.
But nice that we have names which are being used in multiple Ghibli movies.
Correct.
So let's move on to the next movie then.
Yeah, sure.
And the movie's name is
Ponyo.
Do you know what Ponyo means?
No.
Do you want to know what Ponyo means?
Obviously.
There's no meaning for Ponyo.
He played us.
Yeah, but listen, when you say Ponyo, it sounds soft. It sounds like a bun.
Sounds like a pond.
Not
and
pond.
Like
Ponyo,
a very
Ponyo.
hippie pond. Ponyo.
No, you see, it's the way you say. Ponyo.
Ponyo.
When you say that, what would you imagine?
A hippie pond.
Bad imagination. So let's talk about the plot. Can you lead us with the plot, Premi?
Yeah. The plot is all about a little boy finding a little goldfish and that fish becoming a human being because of the love that the boy has for the fish. So this is pretty much the plot.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how about the setting?
The setting is again like how many Ghibli works. It's fantasy and reality blended so beautiful together that the fantasy elements are not surprising to the human beings grounded in reality. The movie begins with the setting of the ocean. It says that life began in the ocean and that was the biggest era of life itself. And human beings came over and the human era took over the world and life itself, and it's reigned for a lot of time. In a disruptive way is the kind of impression that they give the ocean creatures. Yeah, so there's this man with this small little submarine-ish castle, and then within the ocean that is, and then there's a family above the ocean in an island, a seemingly simple family of just three, and the boy is family of three, where the mother and the boy is together and the father is working in the ocean as a captain.
Sailor.
Yeah, sailor. Yes. So that's what I think about the setting. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, true. We begin the movie in the ocean itself. Deep in the ocean, where we see all these small creatures swimming around. And slowly we see this cliffside house where we find one of our protagonists, Sosuke, and his mother. So it's a pretty nice place actually. From the beginning itself, we get to know that the entire movie is going to be about oceans and nature.
Correct.
And it was perfect. The setting is like beautiful, and it's as we mentioned before, both the previous movie Arrietty and Ponyo are fairy tale movies.
Yeah.
A girl meeting a boy, and something magical happens.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about the beginning itself. It was interesting that we start from the ocean and we see all these small creatures. Because we have this mention from the character who's feeding all these small creatures in the ocean. Ponyo's dad. So it goes like this. The entire goal of him feeding all these creatures, trying to figure out all these creatures, is about bringing back the Cambrian era. So Cambrian era is a time period which is millions of years ago on the earth, where only small creatures which can live inside the water, these small vertebrates and centipede-like creatures, only they were there. So they were like the building blocks of life. Everything started in the ocean. So it was very significant because we start the movie with the beginning of life.
Correct.
A representation of beginning of life.
Yeah. Looks like the creation of life.
Exactly.
How he like brings out magic to create.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, shall we talk about Ponyo?
Yes.
Yes. What do you think about her arc in the movie?
Ponyo is a very strange character actually, because she starts out as a fish. In the beginning of the movie, we see this school of fishes, baby fishes together, and Ponyo is like the oldest fish, like the elder sister of all the fishes. And it's a very strange character design, if you ask me,
Yes.
because they call it a goldfish and it has a face, it has a human face.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how come people are saying it's a goldfish.
Yeah.
We see this young boy Sosuke finding this goldfish in the seashore, saving it, putting it in a bucket, and according to him, it's a goldfish. And soon, as time goes on, this small fish, spending more and more time with Sosuke, slowly gains human-like nature and human-like features. And I'm so glad it was Sosuke, because Sosuke is like the best role model for a human being.
Absolutely agree.
And we talk about character development, but there's not just character development. There's physical transformation and development in her nature. She also turns into a human being with a lot of depth, character, and goodness and kindness.
Wow, that's a beautiful.
So it's a very interesting character design and a very interesting character development of whatever transformation you can name it.
Absolutely agree with you. It's a very beautiful way that you said it. And talking about Sosuke, oh my god, the number of times I went oh at the movie was so many, like uncountable times I did that. So yeah, Sosuke is such a good-natured boy, so protective of Ponyo and everything around his surrounding, even his mother, for that matter. He's so protective and kind and generous, and all the good things that a human being can have is the embodiment that Sosuke is. And the embodiment of innocence itself. Innocence is a very important part of the movie here. So, do you have anything to talk about innocence?
It has the same vibe as My Neighbor Totoro.
Correct.
So because we have this young parent who's very accepting of what the child does. We have this child who's filled with a sense of protectiveness. I'm talking about Sosuke, who has the sense of protectiveness, kindness, and a sense of goodness. He's always nice to all the other people around him. He's nice to all living creatures around him. Like Ponyo is the only living creature that he encounters, but he's very protective, very kind. He's very concerned, and he's very sweet. Meanwhile, Ponyo, we see her as a baby actually. A baby who's trying to learn new things. A baby who just observes, who's quiet in the beginning, and slowly there's vocabulary, there's a sense of connection, there's love and everything. It's so nice to see just the two kids roaming around to places and just having fun. The entire movie is very reminiscent of My Neighbor Totoro in that way.
Correct. So one of the main things, and for the largest part of the movie, what we see is water. So, is there anything that you would like to talk about water in this movie?
Yeah, two things. Unpredictability and fluidity. So water's part in the movie is very unpredictable. It has its own character. We think that Ponyo's dad is in control of water. Yes, in some level it's true. But water itself is under no one's control. When we see the moon coming closer to the earth, there's huge tidal waves, there's flood happening here and there. You don't know what will happen next, and the entire place is flooded. And fluidity also means one day we have the sea, we have ships sailing in the sea, and on the next day we can see the same water body over the roads, over the streets, and we have people rowing boats. You should literally, it's fluid.
Wow.
You should treat it as in the sense of fluidity, you can't fight with water. You should just move with the water, be with the water. and you have to like accept in its own way. The
Mm.
more you try to resist, the more destructive water can be.
Wow, like the interchanging roles, like we were
Exactly.
on the water and the water is here.
Exactly.
Yeah, so wow, what a nice way to say it. And I sensed a connection that Ponyo had with water. So whenever she wanted to be close to Sosuke, there's these billowing waves that crash into the land. And yeah, so I don't really associate that with a bad emotion, though it looked like a bad emotion, because it's not bad. Like she just wants to come closer to Sosuke. It has a very pure and innocent intention behind it, and that's where innocence come into play. And I personally think that this movie plays out to be an imaginative take on tsunami in the perspective of Sosuke, or somebody who's in the age of Sosuke, like a 5 year old. How would he think of a natural disaster? And how I'm just intrigued by how the director had not shown any fear or um, disruptive quality of the natural disaster. He's not blaming the nature, he's not blaming the human
True,
beings,
true.
which really stood out to me. I was so perplexed throughout the movie, to like how like it's actually a tsunami that happened, and so many the city seems to have sunk
Yes.
beneath the water, and everything has seemed to like it's just the worst condition that you can imagine humanity in. But you don't see any trace of exactly that. You don't see hopelessness, you don't see sadness, you don't see crying and all that. You only see hope, and you only see happiness, you only see the warmth of love and everything, which kind of stood out to me. That's when I realized probably it's the perspective of the boy who's not able to quite wrap his mind around things like this.
Yeah, talking about it, you're kind of true. I mean, there's a sense of calmness with the people when there's tsunamis or any kind of floods out there. But I also kind of feel like probably it's a very frequent thing that's happening there. Japan being Japan, which is located near a set of active volcanoes, there's frequent amount of earthquakes and tsunamis which are happening. I mean, this has been happening around for like probably centuries. So people would have adapted or would have evolved to treat it as a part of life. So I thought that might also be the case here.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how Sosuke looks at all the people who are rowing the boats after the tsunami, and he says it's like a festival. And I'm like, what? It's like a what? Because people have lost their livelihoods. And that's a child's innocence. He doesn't know what's
Exactly.
going on. He thinks, oh wow, people are rowing their boats in the middle of the day in broad sunlight. They're doing all this. All of them are rowing the boats. All of them are on the sea and everything. So it's just fascinating to him, and it's fascinating to me how a child's perspective can be so tender and innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah. One interesting thing about this movie is the old lady who first sees Ponyo says that she brings bad luck, and she kind of predicts that she brings tsunami. Yeah, and it happens.
Yeah.
Yes. So I read somewhere that Ponyo is a harbinger of death. So what this movie is seemingly to be hopeful and innocent and everything kind of has a dark twist to it. What do you think about it?
I didn't know about it. Is that true actually?
Yeah, well, if you think about it, Ponyo comes in, and then soon after Ponyo is introduced into the movie, there's like one after the other destruction to the human side, but it's not very evident. Like, it's not the focus of the film. The focus of the film is interaction between Ponyo and Sosuke. That's all that matters. But in the background, we know that a tsunami is very disruptive to human life. But The director, I think, very intentionally does not give focus to that, saying that it doesn't matter. You don't like human life doesn't matter as much as nature and its importance. Like it has its duty and power to do what it wants to do. So I think that type of dominance of nature was something that the director wanted to give power to. So that's what I think about it. Is there something that you want to say?
I think there was some level of clear explanation to who caused the tsunami.
Hmm.
Because we have this person,
Okay.
Ponyo's dad, who
Hmm.
was once a human being,
Hmm.
now a part of the sea creatures.
Hmm.
He was having his own sorts of laboratory
Yeah.
under the ocean.
Yeah, yeah.
And in this laboratory, he was doing all sorts of chemistry to bring back the Cambrian era back into this world.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So he had this well where some magical elixir is stored.
Hmm.
And he mentions that no water should come inside.
Hmm.
If it comes inside, things will change.
Hmm.
And I don't think we can directly blame Ponyo to be the reason for bringing the tsunami.
Hmm.
But by mistake, she opens the latch and water goes inside.
Hmm.
And there's this evolution of all the fishes that enter the particular well.
Okay.
We literally see scenes where Sasuke and Ponyo talk about the new creatures that are there in the sea
Hmm.
from the Devonian era.
Oh, yeah, yeah. They name all the new creatures.
So these fishes are actually from history.
Yeah. Hmm.
So they have this scaly armor-like body
Hmm.
and these razor-type teeth and all.
Hmm.
So I think all this originated from that particular well, which was actually created by Ponyo's dad.
Hmm.
And he was kind of in a way holding all these creatures captive, especially Ponyo and Ponyo's sisters.
Hmm.
I mean, he often says that humankinds are bad. They always bring destruction to the sea. But he keeps forgetting that he is human.
Hmm.
And he was human. And he still has the nature of human beings
Exactly.
inside him.
Exactly.
Because he has literally built a chemistry lab under the ocean. Who does that?
God, humans.
Yeah. So I think if anyone has to blame, I think I would say Ponyo's dad to be one of the reasons why we had a tsunami in the particular movie.
Absolutely. I agree with you. So, one important character that I really want to talk about is Lisa, the mother of Sosuke.
Yes. Oh, yes. Lisa is very special actually.
Yes.
Because I see Lisa just like how I saw May's dad from Totoro.
Correct.
May and Sasuke, no? May and Sasuke's dad from Totoro. Because I feel like in some level, this is how parenting should be.
Exactly.
You should be accepting of your children. When a child says something like, I see a girl walking on the water, you shouldn't dismiss the child. I mean, like, in that particular scene where we have water flooding the areas around them, and Lisa is trying to escape with Sosuke in her car, and Sosuke somehow sees Ponyo walking on the waves, or running and jumping on the waves, and he tells her, Lisa, there's this girl jumping on the waves and she's running and coming. Lisa stops the car for a minute.
Yeah.
She comes out and she's concerned about
the
girl. If it was any other Asian parent, they would be like, what are you dreaming right now? Just shut up and be quiet. Let's go back home. And in some level, I feel like Lisa is being very considerate of the child's emotions and the child's words.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this is how parents should be. Or this is how parenting should be.
Yeah.
You should be accepting of your children's imagination, even if it's real or not real. Be accepting of it. And you should be very, what to say, like she takes up Ponyo immediately. She never asks a question about who Ponyo is, why is she outside and all. She finds Ponyo on the road and she's like, come on, let's go home. It's raining outside, let's go home. Come, let's eat. Only after taking care of Ponyo, she's asking Ponyo the question, who's your father, who's your mother?
Yeah.
And that's a very nice nature to a character.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we don't see nice people everywhere, but it's nice to see we can influence from such people from movies like this.
That's true. I agree with you. The kind of protectiveness and the good qualities that Sosuke has is something that's imbibed
From
from.
Lisa.
Yes.
True, definitely true. I mean, like Sosuke, all of Sosuke is a part of Lisa.
Yes, true. Yeah. And the father, though, he does not get a lot of screen presence. He's not really part of the whole story per se.
Sosuke's father.
Yes. Who's Koichi?
Koichi, yeah. Koichi is
Yes.
Sosuke's father.
Yeah. But still, the kind of love that Lisa and Koichi shares also is very evident in the way that they do the Morse code with the lights
Yeah.
to say I love you. It's so sweet, man. I really love that scene where they did the Morse code light thing. How she says baka baka baka. It's so sweet.
Yeah.
I love that scene. Yeah. Is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, towards the end, we have the scene where, for the first time, we see Ponyo's mother, who's this huge mermaid. She comes out of nowhere, and Ponyo's dad is like, see, Ponyo has been spending time with her boyfriend, this human boy. I don't like it. We have to separate them. And the mother says something very interesting. She says, she likes a boy, that's very nice. She's human, that's very nice. Okay, let's see. If she likes the boy a lot and the boy loves her back, she will lose all her powers and she'll become human. And that's like very shocking thing to say. And suddenly the dad is like, but if she doesn't like, she'll become a sea foam. And there's a sense of concern there.
Yeah.
Even I was concerned, like, okay, the dad is like, at least he's being a nice person right there. But the mom says something very beautiful. That is what we all are. That's where we came from. Even if you're a unicellular being or multicellular being, you are a being. You have life. You lived. Those beings lived and we are thriving right now. And as the movie goes on, we find out that Sosuke actually loves Ponyo. And it doesn't matter if Ponyo is a fish or a mermaid or a human being.
Yeah.
And that sense of love is not romantic actually.
Yeah, it's innocent.
It's innocent love, but it's a very strong type of love.
Yeah.
It's an accepting love.
Yeah, unconditional.
Unconditionally accepting love. That kind of love is like a rare type of love actually.
Yeah, true.
And towards the end, there's this beautiful scene where the mother says, as soon as you take her to the shore, just kiss on the bubble and she'll turn into a human being. They go to the shore and somehow they're just waiting there to see who all survived and everything. And suddenly Ponyo jumps and Sosuke unintentionally kisses the bubble and Ponyo turns into this beautiful young girl. Yeah. And that particular frame I love the frame. And I love that the movie ended with that particular frame.
Yeah, so beautiful. So thank you for listening, guys, and we'll meet you with the next set of movies. So today we're signing off.
Bye-bye.
Bye.